lovely, beautiful constellations. Today, I'm going to be doing a video that you'll see it, but I probably won't be doing a lot of these because I don't buy books that often. But today, I'm going to be doing a book haul and telling you all the books I've bought recently, pretty much from the start of quarantine to now, because there's a little more than there usually is. Let's get started. Right at the beginning of quarantine, when school was moved to online, but we weren't seriously in quarantine, a friend of mine and I went to Goodwill and I saw the Poisonwood Bible, and it's in pretty good condition. I was really excited. I read this in middle school for English class, and it basically follows this family in the 60s, and they go to Africa as part of their missionary objective. So this is a family of missionaries, mainly the father. The wife and his daughters are just there kind of because he's taking them there, and it's an exploration of basically the effects of colonialism through religious perspective. It critiques the missionary agenda in Africa very strongly. As a Christian, this was really interesting to read. I loved it. I definitely want to reread it now that I'm a bit older, and I'll probably understand a lot of this a little better. So yeah, I'm excited. The next two books I bought because I was reading the first one while I was waiting for my mom at Target, because she works there, and for whatever reason, I don't quite remember why I was there, but I was waiting for her to get out of work, and just for fun, because I was bored, I thought I would pick this book up, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I had to get the second one as I was reading it. But I have the first two books in the Nevermoor series. These books follow this girl named Morrigan. She is a cursed child, and she is doomed to die on the night of her 11th birthday. Until then, she pretty much brings bad luck wherever she goes, which does not reflect well on her politician family, so they don't quite like her. But before she gets the chance to die, she is whisked away to this land called Nevermoor, where she is given an opportunity to basically live there if she can kind of pass these tests that are set before her. I love it. It's like Doctor Who meets Harry Potter meets, I don't know, some kind of trials thing. It's great. I haven't read the second one and I haven't finished the first one, but I absolutely love it. And the third one is supposed to come out later this year, and I'm really excited. Next, I have Loki. I am so excited to read this. I basically bought it as an impulse buy. A friend of mine was reading this a while ago, but she never told me how it was, and over quarantine, I've just become slowly more and more obsessed with Loki, and I want everything I can possibly read and watch and consume about him, Marvel-wise and mythology-wise. So basically, this book follows Loki during the 1800s, I believe, as he goes to Earth, where a friend of his has been banished, and he goes to investigate a series of... Gosh. So this book follows Loki and one of his friends. She is banished to Earth, and eventually Loki decides that he wants to go to Earth to investigate a string of these mysterious murders that are happening. He probably thinks that she has something to do with it. She might, I don't know. I do like some magical historical fiction, and I really like Loki, and I've heard some pretty good things about the way that he is represented in this book. So I'm very excited to read this. Oh my gosh. That's really exciting. Okay. So sorry, I got really distracted. Next I have The Tyrant's Tomb. It's book 4 of the Trials of Apollo series. I bought this obviously because I'm reading it. If you haven't read the Trials of Apollo series, you should. It follows the god Apollo as he is banished to Earth to become immortal after his involvement in the war that happened against the giants in Heroes of Olympus. And he basically has to do right, I guess. He basically has to stop some things from happening and earn his way back into being a god again. That's not a very great explanation, but it's a really good read. I honestly think it might be my favorite series in the Percy Jackson world. Not quite my favorite series that Rick Riordan has written, but my favorite series in Percy Jackson. Maybe. We'll see once I finish it. The next book comes out on my birthday. So, if anyone wants to get me that. Next I have Wayward Son, which is the second book after Carry On. I have not read it, but a friend of mine has, and she said she really liked it. Carry On follows Simon and Baz, the fictional characters from Fangirl that Kath really likes, as we see them in their last year at, what's it called? Watford Academy? Hello? They're roommates together, they hate each other, and actually I can explain this a lot better. Carry On follows Simon Snow, who is basically the chosen one, and he's not that great at being the chosen one. He is at his last year at school. His roommate is his arch nemesis, which surprises him because the system for choosing roommates is basically that they're like soulmates, I guess. I don't quite understand how a match is made, but they're supposed to be kind of like your brother in arms, your closest pal, and Simon and Baz are not that. But basically, Simon has to defeat a threat to magic called the Insidious Humdrum. The Insidious Humdrum. He's still figuring out how to do that. That was not a very good explanation, but I tried to explain it multiple times, and this is the best I can do. Please read it. It's wonderful. If you liked Fangirl, you'll probably like Carry On. And Wayward Son is something that is not in Fangirl at all, so I'm thrilled to see what more things we get from Simon and Baz. I've heard some mixed things about Wayward Son, but I like Simon and Baz so much that I don't think I'll care. From here on out, the books that I will be showing you are books that I've pretty much gotten from the books that I'll be showing you next. I've either gotten secondhand or one was a gift, so I basically didn't spend full price on these. So I have The Kite Runner. I realize I've not been saying the authors of these books. I'm not going to refilm. Hopefully you can see. If not, I always will be putting the books that I talk about in the description below so you can clearly see. I'm so sorry. But I have The Kite Runner. I don't know anything about this book. other than it's a historical fiction, and then I found it in an alleyway and I got it for free, so I figured I might as well read it, you know. If anyone has read this, please let me know if it's good. I saw one person talking about it one time on TikTok, and she said that she loved it, but I've not heard anything from anyone else otherwise. Next I have Good Morning, Good Night. It's basically a series of little pep talks. I have read Johnny Sun's other book, Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too, and I had the privilege of hearing him speak at the college near me. He's such a wonderful human being, and when this book came out, I was a slight bit hesitant because it's really expensive for such a small book, probably because Lin-Manuel Miranda is also a part of it. I don't know, but I just knew that at the time it wasn't worth me spending my money if I have no idea whether or not I'll like it. But I saw it at a secondhand store, and I figured that I might as well try it now. Hopefully I'll really like it. I loved Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too, and if this book is anything like that, maybe I'll really like it. We'll see. Next I have 2 Charles Dickens books, Oliver Twist and Great Expectations. I don't know anything about these. I just know they're classics. Well, I know that Oliver Twist is an orphan. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I figured I would give Charles Dickens a try. Yeah. We'll see what I think about these. Next I have The Raven Boys, which is the first book in the Raven cycle. I don't know much about this book other than it's about this girl whose name is Lily Blue, I think, who gets involved with this group of boys who are called the Raven Boys. I think they're troublemakers and not a lot of people like them, but she is magic or something, so she gets involved with them anyway. I've heard some pretty good things about this. Hopefully I'll really like it. I heard someone, when it first came out, compare it to Stranger Things almost, because the vibes of 11 joining the boys is almost the same as Lily joining the Raven Boys. I don't know. I haven't even watched Stranger Things, but somehow that really interested me. So we'll see what I think about this. I don't have the other 2 books yet, but if I like this, then I'll probably get them soon. Next I have This Book is Anti-Racist. My former middle school English teacher got this for me, and I really enjoyed it. I talked about it in my reading vlogs for Scallywagathon, so if you want to hear my thoughts on it, go check that out. Next I have Half of a Yellow Sun, which I have read for my book club that I have at school. And when I was reading it for book club, I had checked it out from the library, but I recently went to a yard sale and I basically got it for 50 cents, and I figured I liked it enough to have it personally. It's a historical fiction about the events of the Civil War in Nigeria, as we follow a lot of different characters who are from different backgrounds, different classes, different sides, as they are impacted very heavily by the Civil War and by Britain's attempts to remain in control, as the effects of colonialism are basically the cause of this war. It is really interesting. I didn't know anything about the Civil War in Nigeria at all, because it's just not taught. I think it's a wonderful book to read. It's such an important book to read. I think everyone should read this. It does have some graphic content, so I guess slight warning for that. There's some sexual content as well, if that tends to bother you. That usually tends to bother me, and I skipped over those parts, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't bother you. In any case, try it out. Next I have a book of poems from Sor Juana Ines de la Cruz. I don't know anything about her other than when I was at the yard sale, the woman selling this book was telling me that her life is quite scandalous, and that she's really interesting. So I don't know much about her other than what the woman at the yard sale was telling me. She was so excited about her life and these poems that I had to pick this up. Yeah, all that I know about Sor Juana Ines de la Cruz is that she was a feminist. She had a lot of scandals in her life. I'm excited to learn about that and read her poems. Next I have The Shadow of the Wind. I was watching I don't remember who I was watching, but I was watching someone read this in a reading vlog, and they absolutely loved it. And I was really excited when I saw this at the yard sale. It basically follows this bookstore owner who is dealing with the loss of his mother, and somehow he gets involved in trying to find this book called The Shadow of the Wind, but copies of this book start mysteriously disappearing, and his quest for this book leads him down a path of murder, madness, and doomed love. So I am really, really excited to read it. Lastly, I have Paradise Lost, which is another classic that I pretty much picked up just because it was cheap and it was a classic. So. Next, I wanted to talk about books that I currently have on loan from the library because I go to the library really often. I'm so sorry about that. I go to the library quite often, so you probably will get a lot more library hauls from me than book hauls, but since I went crazy, I figured I would share with you all of the books I have from the library right now. First is a book that I got when I was getting a bunch of books about Homer and the Iliad and the Odyssey, so I probably won't read this. I think I'll just return it back because I'm homered out. But I have Why Homer Matters. I kind of know why Homer matters now, so I don't think I need this. Next I have volumes 1 through 5 of the Harley Quinn Rebirth series. You saw me read the first volume. Well, you didn't see me read, but I talked about it in my Scallywagathon wrap-up. I'm currently on volume 2. These volumes follow Harley Quinn as she is trying to live her life after cutting ties with the Joker. And she's a delight as always. Her life is crazy, fun, adventurous, hilarious, crushing. It's all the emotions at once. And if you want to read Harley Quinn, but you don't quite know where to start, I think this is a good place to start. Next I have Batman Year One, which I know nothing about, but I've read Batman comics, I've watched Batman. I just want more Batman right now. And with the trailer of the Batman movie out that I haven't seen yet, but everyone kind of lost their minds over, I thought might as well read this, you know? Next I have yet another person in the Bat family. I have Batgirl Volume 1. I haven't read anything with Batgirl. I've read stuff with Batwoman, but not Batgirl. So I'm interested to see kind of what she's like, especially in the Rebirth series. I don't quite know if I'll like her as much as I liked Batwoman, but we'll see. I mean, I like my bats. They are usually quite interesting, and they all work really well together. I like when I read stories with more of them than just one of them. So that I probably won't see that here, but if it's there, I'll really like that. Next, I have Watchmen, which is a lot thicker than I thought it would be for a comic book. I, again, don't know anything about this other than it's really well known in the comic book world, and right now I'm doing a research project on heroes, and that my focus for now has been specifically on superheroes, and this came up in a lot of what I've been reading and watching, and I thought since it was recently turned into an HBO series, maybe I should give this a try and read it. If you've read this, let me know what you think about it. If you've watched the series, let me know what you think about it. I don't have HBO, but I do always like to hear what people think about adaptations of stories, so comment down below. Next, I actually have one more bad thing. I forgot to mention this, but I have The Killing Joke. I wanted to give a Joker comic a try. Joker isn't quite my favorite villain. He unsettles me, which I guess is the point. But I don't know. I don't like seeing him. But I haven't read a comic with him. So I thought, I don't know, maybe try it out. I might DNF this if I'm not feeling the vibes. If this isn't a good start for me for Joker, let me know. I'm willing to read something else with him and give him one more try if I'm not a fan. But, I am gonna try this out. Next, I have 2 comic books with Guardians of the Galaxy. I like Guardians of the Galaxy. That's all I have to say about that. Next, I have the issues of Runaways, number 1 through 18, because my mom and I are watching the series Runaways, and I really like it. It's really good, really interesting. I haven't heard anyone really hype it up, but this is me hyping it up. Please go watch it. But I thought, since I'm watching it, I might as well read the comics. Hopefully I'll like it just the same. I know there's aspects of the comics that I may not like, because in the adaptation there's just a lot more diversity of the main cast, and comic books are a little white, just saying. So that connection might be a little lost on me. Because for example, I really like Molly. She's such an interesting character to me, but she's also interesting to me because she's Latina. So I connect with her on that kind of level, and I just won't be able to connect with someone who's not. I mean, not that I won't be able to connect with Molly still, but there's aspects of that connection that are lost because in the comics she's white, So I think I'll still like the stories. I may not like the characters as much because of certain levels that you can get when your background is involved. So we'll see how I feel. I am still thrilled to read this nonetheless. In the future editing, I just wanted to amend something that I said really quickly. I was under the assumption that Alex was white in the comics too, because based on the covers, he wasn't there. And I just saw white people other than Nico, and I was like, okay, I guess he's white. He's not. It's just Molly that they altered a little bit, but my previous comment still stands that I may not be able to relate to her, because what specifically drew me to Molly is that she is a young Latina woman living with a white family. So as much as she is proud of her heritage, she's not surrounded by it. I don't live in a white family. My family is all Puerto Rican and Venezuelan, but I am we call Americanized, and I sometimes don't feel as connected to my heritage. So whenever she got excited that there was another Latino, or when she got excited that she was able to meet someone from her family, that impacted me differently because of what it just meant for me and my connection to my culture. And I'm not going to get that with this version of Molly. I may still like her because I think she's still the youngest, and I've always been the youngest in my group. But yeah, there's just going to be a slight difference in how I view Molly in the comics versus in the show. But that's the only difference. So I apologize. Next is not a comic, but it's a book about Marvel Comics. Again, for my research project, I wanted to learn more about the origin, and I heard Scott from NerdSync referenced this for one of his videos, and I thought, hey, my library has it, might as well check it out and read it too, you know? Next, I have the complete works from Edgar Allan Poe. As much as I like Gothic aesthetic and stories and all that, I don't think I've read Edgar Allan Poe outside of school, so I wanted to change that, because what I've read from Edgar Allan Poe I've really liked, and I think his life is tragically fascinating, so I thought I'd read everything. Lastly, I have the complete poems from Percy Shelley. I picked this up because I was supposed to read about the poets from the Romantic era, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was supposed to learn about them in school, but school was very different this year. And Percy Shelley is my English teacher's favorite poet, and I was really excited to hear her teach him to us and feel her passion about it. But she didn't get the chance to do that, and she won't get the chance to do that this year. She may sneak him in our class that we have with her again, but it probably won't be the same. So I figured that I would read him on my own, let her know, and tell her what I think, because I still want to have a conversation about him with her. Thank you so much for watching this book and library haul. Maybe don't get used to these, but if you liked it, let me know. I'm so sorry for the construction noises. There's nothing I can do about that. If you have anything you want to see from me in the future, comment down below. Give me ideas. I am all ears. I'm willing to have a conversation about anything. So, dream big, stay kind, keep your head among the stars, and I will see you in my next video, whatever that is. Goodbye!